When it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, there are many things to talk about. One thing in specific I wanted to talk about is how kind the Joestars are. And in specific, I want to give y'all a list of who I think is the kindest to least kind Joestars, because I talked about this a little bit earlier on my TikTok as I saw a tweet about it, and I was like, you know what, I should just make this into a video. Now, the top two for me are two non-negotiable or two interchangeable that I don't feel like I need to spend a lot of time going over and explaining my reasons for. At number one, obviously, is Jonathan. Jonathan, in terms of pure kindness, yeah, this man, like, we literally saw him as a child being kind to Arena just because he felt like that was the right thing to do. That was a gentleman thing to do, not necessarily because he liked Arena, even though he was lying. He knew he liked Arena, but not necessarily because he wanted Arena or whatever thing. He said it was his moral code. And then at number two, I have Josuke and Josuke part 4. When it comes to, like, his stand, if you look at what his stand represents, you can definitely see why I say that. And plus, for most of the time, he really just acts like the regular arrogant 16-year-old, but like with a hint of kindness instead of edginess, you know what I mean? Because a lot of teenagers, especially when I was 16, a lot of people, they were like, you going through that time period, you get mad edgy, you're just mad edgy from the years prior. But it's rare to find such an optimistic and happy, you know, teenager. Like, Josuke's whole thing was the fact that he looked like a delinquent, but he had a very kind heart, a very pure soul. Now, these next two fall into a category of they are generally kind, and they don't really do anything too crazy, or things that would be like marked as unkind, really. And they are Jolie Kujo and Josuke Agasa 8. Now, with Jolie Kujo, people bring up her getting arrested, and they're like, oh, but didn't she run over that guy? She didn't run over that guy. And plus, the person who was in the road, I'm pretty sure they were already dead, because we learned that John Gallier has set the whole thing up. He set the whole scene up. He actually had, and he paid people to drag the body of a random hitchhiker onto the road so that, you know, Romeo could stop, and then they get caught, and he has Jolene basically help him. So Jolene did not help cooperate against the innocent person. And throughout part 6, she is shown to be very kind and empathetic, especially when you look at the way she is towards her friends, or even Foo Fighters, for example. Foo Fighters is literally a body of plankton. And Jolene showed them nothing but unconditional kindness. Granted, the first time they like started teaming up, it was a little rocky, but mostly unconditional kindness all the way, causing Foo Fighters to even understand why they existed and what their personal purpose was. And then when you look at the opposite side of that, at Josuke Agasa 8, you see that he was a very kind person. Very, very kind person. The only issue with him was he was very more liable to kill. Like, he was low-key itching for it. If it came to a point where people he loved were in harm, or wherever the case was, he was itching to kill. Because the way he did, what's his name, Dalmo? Cooked that nigga bad. He cooked him bad. Granted, he had some help, but he cooked him bad. But other than that, he's real kind. All of them are very extremely kind to children. Well, for the most part, they're extremely kind to children. But yeah, on the kindness level, I think he's very high. He doesn't really do anything in part 8 that would really, to me, mark as really unkind. He's very nice, and he's just on his passion, on his goal to find himself. Now at 5, I would put Jotaro at 5. Jotaro gets the slight edge over Joseph, mainly because he doesn't end up cheating on his wife. You know what I mean? Like, he does reprehensible stuff, but we don't know. For one, we don't know how Joseph was as a parent, for real. And for two, we know that Joseph cheated on his wife. We've also seen Joseph do slightly morally corrupt kind of things. You know what I mean? But I would say both of them around, like, when it comes to kindness, are around the same. you could give Joseph the nod though, because Jotaro was not approachable when he was younger. He was still kind, but he wasn't approachable. Like, you approach him and first thing you're probably going to get is a shut the fuck up. That's all you're going to get. Honestly, if you're doing your own personal list, I can completely see you putting Joseph over Jotaro. But again, like, I'm talking about like that pure kindness, soul pinching kindness. I just got Jotaro, especially you see it more in the later parts, I guess. You know, it's more showcased, it's more sprinkled through. Especially part 6, that's where you see his kindness really fully on display, because it's forced to be in part 6. But I got Jotaro a little bit. Okay, we're down to the bottom 3 in kindness. We have Giorno, Jodio, Johnny. Now, if I go off their biggest, like, moments of craziness, Johnny, when he was a douchebag in general before he got shot. Douchebag, rich boy who did whatever he wanted, cut it whoever he wanted, did whatever, right? Cool. Giorno, mafia gang member who is used to extorting people. Like, before he joins the mob, we see him extort. He extorted the fuck out of Koichi. He extorts people. Okay, he extorts people, you know, so there's that. And he's also in the fucking mob. And there's also the fact that he doesn't really have a giant issue with drugs. He just has a giant issue with children smoking drugs. He said himself he does not care what adults do. And Jodio, who at the age of 15, drug dealer, but not just any, like, he's not dealing the light stuff. This man is dealing hard drugs at the age of 15. And then he goes, this is kind of spoilers, but like, you literally find this out at the end of like chapter 1, chapter 2. But he goes to try to steal a diamond, multi-million dollars. So we know who's last. But between Johnny and Giorno, I would say Johnny's kinder. Especially when you look at the end of his story. The whole story was about him going on this journey to become a new person and understand his life better. Understand the life he could live after losing what he thought was everything. You know what I mean? So I feel like you could definitely give him the nod. I don't think my mic was on for that last part, but I feel like you could give him the nod. But at 8, Giorno, which again, Giorno's kind, don't get me wrong, but I was literally talking about it earlier. He's like a chaotic evil, or like a neutral evil. Like, he's not evil, he's not out here trying to harm people, but he's also trying to help the people he feels need help. And if he sees you need help, it's low-key fuck you. Unless you're close to him, then it's not fuck you. Because again, instead of disbanding the mafia organization or even outing the real boss's identity, he becomes the boss. And yeah, he's now the boss of a mafia organization. The largest mafia organization in the country of Italy. Yeah, so now he's indirectly responsible for whoever the mafia kills, but I don't think he cares. And then with Jodio, I don't have to say much. Like, we don't know Jodio's full story, so I cannot say if it will change or not. But like, seeing Giorno, it's probably not changing, man. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 10K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace.